This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without consequence. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
We can enter any home we want, and we will want. His wanting is our will on this fine night. Don't force us to hurt you. He's just like Purge. Too many standards.
You better find someplace else to go.
I got a wicked sweet tooth tonight. And I want my candy back.
Welcome to another Purge of the BS. Thank y'all for joining. Anybody that's here nice and early, my mods, I know I got the chat open, so I need at least one or two of my mods here, so I don't have to deal with all of the craziness myself. But nonetheless, special shouts to anybody that's joining in. This is the Purge of the BS. We got some BS to purge today. I am your host, Hayes, aka Papa Purge, and we are live on this wonderful Thursday to get into some pretty risky damn business. So I hope you guys, if you're new to the show, make sure you hit the like button, double tap the screen if you're on mobile, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and jump into the chat. Let's have a conversation. Now, before I move forward, bear with me just a moment. I need a number one in the chat if you can hear me just right. I'm not sure why this current chat is in Chinese, but whatever. I guess we'll take what we can get. But nonetheless, guys, I ain't gonna waste too much time. They'll catch the replay if they're not here yet. YouTube's been acting up a little bit today. Notifications haven't been going out as quickly as they should, and there seems to be some weird problem with studio pages loading too. So they might be going through something. I don't know, but I don't have time to wait for them. Because as always, I got shit to do. So special shouts to No Reply, my first mod in here. Thank you for stopping in. Just warning everybody, YouTube's been a little interesting today. I think they're having some type of a technical issue. So if the stream conks out, I will reconnect as quickly as I can, okay? I promise. Just don't go nowhere. So anyway, No Reply, what's good with you? Glad to see you stopping in here with me. Because like I said, this is an open chat. We saw what happened last time. We always seem to get one or two in here that go a little wild, that ain't here for the conversation. They in here. But for anybody that's new to the show, once you see the drama develop, when you hear this soundbite.
Yeah, gotta go. That's it. Shit, yeah.
So once you hear that, that means that person gotta go. That's it. Okay? But nonetheless, let me get into this thing, man, because today's episode is all about risk and who's actually taking the risk. Who's actually paying for the risks that are being taken and who's getting away with it. And I think we need to have this conversation because there's a lot on the horizon right now. And we'll get to the government shutdown / EBT issue, but that'll be a little bit later. Stay tuned for that. But buckle up, because we got to purge the BS on a fatal highway crash that instantly turned political, and I'm still not sure why. NBA YoungBoy, wonderful concerts that he's putting on have created security problems because people don't know how to act. We're going to get into the soundbite from Kendrick Perkins. If you don't know about that, it's actually pretty funny. Kendrick Perkins was shooting his shot live on TV and may have gotten himself canceled over it. Michael Jordan is actually opening up his wallet for once, and we're going to go over that because a lot of people say that they like Michael Jordan, but they always felt like he didn't give back. So apparently he's doing something in that regard. We got a football player who got into it with the police and came up unalived, and they're still asking questions, and they haven't released the body cam yet. So that does seem a little suspicious. We're going to touch on that for just a moment because we're still waiting on the body cam. Got to discuss it. Also, Candace Owens has been unusually quiet lately. And I kind of want to know why. I kind of do know why. But we're going to talk about that for a brief moment. And of course, we're going to cover the government shutdown. So nonetheless, let's jump right into it. Yeah, and then there's the whole Trailblazers coach got arrested for an illegal gambling ring. And that, I thought it was a poker group. Isn't it? That's happened a couple times to these NBA types and football guys. They have like these underground, poker groups, and they're moving money around tax-free. I'm not really sure. To be honest with you, I don't even see what the big deal is. If you lose your own money, that's your money to lose. If you want to bet $10,000 on a poker game or $10,000 on a basketball game, see, that's where stuff gets tricky. If you're betting for or against your own team and you're the damn coach, it does make it seem a little suspicious. But that story just dropped, no reply. So I'm still looking for additional info on that one as well before I fully cover it. Because at this point, if it was just guys playing poker and they mad about that, like, come on, man. But if you're fixing games and that kind of stuff, and everybody knows to some degree, a lot of these professional sports are not 100% rigged, but they know what's the good story at the end. Like when they see something, they're like, okay, if this person wins, how's the headline going to look? And they think about that. So I'm not going to say it's 100% rigged, but I do believe that they show favor and that some of the refs get paid to call certain calls at certain times. I'm just, it's how I feel. I don't have full proof of it, okay? That's just an opinion. So, nonetheless, see what we got here. Let's get into our first purge of the day. Our first purge of the day is the politicization of a recent truck crash. I don't know if you guys, anybody out in California, any of my California fans, there apparently was a truck crash, say Tuesday? Either way, it was Tuesday or so, and a truck driver was apparently impaired, or he was under the influence of some, okay? And he ran into the back of a car, a small SUV, and then he also did unalive some people, okay? And I got an ad running, so while the ad's running, I need to deal with the one and only Nicole. One and only Nicole, how are you doing today? I see that you have come in hot, which you've never been here before, so you may not understand. But you will get purged out of here. You don't want to be here, that's fine. Keep scrolling. It's okay. I'm not going to take it personally. Not going to take it personally, but you got one more time. You got one more, okay? Anyway, so let's check this story out real quick. Move it over.
True, but they're telling me it is. 3 million people have signed an online petition defending that illegal alien truck driver who killed 3 people on that Florida highway. They want clemency or reduced charges. They argue that, well, the driver had no criminal intent. And now these same people are desperately trying to make the guy who showed no remorse at all in the courtroom.
Well, that's a different case, though. Was that the same one?
I saw sorrow and suffering in his eyes. And he is praying, he's doing sick prayer and ardas for the victims' families. and he is in solidarity, and he is facing mental anguish for.
All right, I ain't got time to listen to that guy. So nonetheless, 21-year-old illegal immigrant from India who crossed the southern border in 2022 and was released by the Biden administration is now accused of causing the fiery semi-truck accident that unalived 3 people in Southern California. This is apparently what the feds are telling the person. Now, here's my thing. They mentioned in the headline of this story about people not being able to read road signs and not speak English. So this is the secondary piece, is that they can't speak English. Now, here's the thing. If a person is inebriated, let's use that word. If a person is inebriated and they decide to drive a vehicle, does it matter that they can't read English? Like, does that even matter? If you're super high or super drunk, the language that you can read probably doesn't really mean much at that point. So they're using this incident to basically push for, you know, certain restrictions on drivers, which I do believe you should at least be able to read a sign if you're going to drive a big rig. But I don't believe that in and of itself would have stopped this incident. That's what I'm saying. So they're making it about one thing, but even that wouldn't have necessarily stopped this. The problem with this guy was he was intoxicated and rammed into all these people. So he never hit the brakes. And I've seen the dash cam video. I don't know if they have it in this article, but it's pretty brutal. Like, you talk about a truck going about 80 miles per hour, 75, 80 miles per hour, slamming right into the back of a smaller vehicle with no brakes, and it smashes it into the back of another truck. It's pretty bad. But they immediately started saying this person failed English and road test signs through DOT. Well, so that means they shouldn't have been driving anyway if they haven't passed the DOT situation. So I feel like instead of just making it about illegal immigration, maybe we should make it more about the Department of Transportation vetting people a little bit better before they put them on the road. I mean, if we're going to have a conversation, I'm just saying we should have the whole conversation, because obviously he was put in a truck, and I believe he had some type of CDL, even though he couldn't read English or speak much English. So is that the driver's fault that somebody let him do that? I would say there's a certain level of responsibility to the Department of Transportation for putting people like that on the road. It is what it is. So I just wanted to make sure that y'all understood that they're going to immediately politicize this into something about immigrants. But truth be told, it's about the Department of Transportation and how they're vetting the people that they're putting on the road. But this is a great story to get people stoked up because people got unalived, and it's a crazy situation. But yes, AXA, thanks for stopping into the chat there. This apparently this is a thing now. So this is another one. And then they're going to have more because there's a lot of trucks on the road and a lot of people, in this case, are intoxicated. This was intoxication. This was not, I couldn't read the sign that said slow down. You see what I'm saying? Like, knowing how to read English would not have stopped this crash at all. This person was high and passed out behind the driver's seat of a truck. So that leans more to the people that are putting these people on the road, not so much the road signs, if that makes sense. But they're making a big deal about road signs and reading English, and I agree that you should be able to do those things. But I don't believe that change would have immediately affected this. That's all I'm saying. So, nonetheless, I just think it's an interesting case that, forget the victims. They didn't even mention the people in this article. Not their names, not their families, who they left behind, nothing. They were just kind of pawns in this whole political scheme of, let's find every way to make anybody illegal look like a horrible person. This guy didn't have a criminal history, so how were they going to stop him? He was given clemency and left in the United States. That wasn't his fault either. Not saying he shouldn't face any charges or any repercussions. I'm just saying, can we, bring everybody in if that's what we're going to do? We can't just keep blaming the fall guy. You got to start looking into the bigger picture here. The bigger picture is the Department of Transportation in California put this guy on the road. So maybe we need to talk to the Department of Transportation in California and how they're doing what they're doing. Motor vehicles. We did a story last week about a lady who was going in taking tests for other people, and they knew she wasn't the person that she was taking the test for. So these are issues that have nothing to do with federal governments or border patrol. This is like local to the areas that these things are happening in. So nonetheless, let's move to the next thing. That might be a little over the head of something. So hold on a second. Oh, I got to put my transition back. And make sure if you're just coming in here, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the chat there. Let us know where you're coming in from so I have a good idea geographically of where we're actually reaching. It does help to know what areas certain content is popular in. So, nonetheless, right. But either way. All right, so our next purge of the BS is something that you guys may or may not have heard of. I just got to cover it really quickly. There were some leaked documents. Since Amazon's been in the news cycle a lot lately, apparently there were some leaked documents where Amazon is basically going to replace over 500,000 of their human workers with automated workers. And apparently we weren't supposed to know this, even though we already know this. But apparently it's a thing, so let's cover it real quick here. For those that didn't know, yes, Amazon is trying to replace humans with automated things, AI, automated vehicles, drones, all types of stuff. So
this morning.
Oh, goodness. Oh, shouts to Al Bond in the chat. I'm sorry, the chat wasn't scrolling. I had to scroll it down manually, so I didn't see you going in there. Al, thank you for coming in. And I know Al knows a lot about Department of Transportation as well, so I don't know what the criteria are to put people on the road in your state, but apparently in California, you don't even have to read and speak English to be on the road. So, I mean, like I said, I think it's a good idea to make sure that people can do that, but I don't think that that rule would have necessarily helped this situation because this guy was high. So you got to stop having high drivers. That would have fixed it. Nonetheless, let's talk about this situation with Amazon since they've been in the news so much lately because of the crash the other day. And even with that, they've now said that they're going to replace 600,000 workers with robots.
This morning, concerns that Amazon, the second largest private employer in the country, is planning one of the biggest workplace transformations in modern history.
In a fulfillment center, the Cardinal robot will pack packages into carts.
The New York Times, citing leaked documents, reports Amazon expects sales to double by 2033, growth that would normally require 600,000 more workers. But the company is reportedly looking to fill those jobs with robots. And
oh, well, hold on a second. See, they got me a little bit with the caption. They said they were replacing people as if people were going to get fired. They're not doing that. They're replacing certain tasks. Hold on a second. Together. They're replacing certain tasks with automated robots. That's what they're saying. So there's like no new jobs are coming. Okay, I'll listen to the rest. You see how they get you with the headline though? What do you mean? I'm thinking 600,000 people are going to get fired. No, 600,000 people are just not going to get hired in the future because they're not going to create jobs for humans. They'll create automation.
Automate 75% of its operations.
We could do this with our robot. We could do this with our technology. That's what we're going to do.
In the near future, Amazon reportedly estimates automation could help it save more than $12 billion and shave about 30 cents off each item it ships. In a statement, Amazon said the leaked documents reflect the perspective of just one team and don't represent our overall hiring strategy, adding that the company is actively hiring and plans to fill 250,000 positions for the holiday season.
One of the things that we've been proud of over our 10-year history is the ability to develop robots that work well alongside people.
It comes amid growing fears of technology replacing human workers. The so-called godfather of artificial intelligence has been sounding the alarm.
If I worked in a call centre, I'd be terrified. If I was someone like a legal assistant, a paralegal, they're not going to be needed for very long. For mundane intellectual labour, AI is just going to replace everybody.
And that's pretty straightforward. So Amazon is planning to create over 500,000 jobs, or have over 500,000 jobs be done by robots. So they're just not going to hire no new. Okay, I get it. I thought it was something different. I thought a bunch of people were about to get fired and replaced by AI, because there are a lot of companies doing that right now, downsizing their human people for the sake of automated systems. So I'm not sure if anybody else has been caught up in that, but you will literally train your own replacement. Like, they'll give you an AI at the job. That's why he said people at call centers and stuff like that, they'll give you an AI in the ticketing system that starts to understand certain problems, common issues, and before you know it, it's coming up with automated responses and things like that. And by the time it does that, they don't need you anymore, because it's all old hat to the AI, and the AI can just reply via email and have a person think it's an actual person talking to them. So it's crazy. AXA, that's a good point. The garbage trucks to have the automated arm on the side, that is one person's job at minimum, sometimes two persons' jobs that are eliminated just by having that. So we are not strangers to understanding how quickly human people can be replaced by some type of an automation or convenience. And that's where we are. Every company's trying to come out with the newest automation, the newest convenience, the newest thing to try to make life easier for whomever. The problem is, if you eliminate enough people from the workforce, there's nobody to purchase stuff, and the entire economy would crash, because there's not enough people making money, because not enough people are working, and you see where that goes. And I see you put the comment in there as I was saying it. Yeah, AI can't purchase nothing. AI is not going to go sit in the line at Walmart on a damn Saturday right before school starts, buying, jeans and stuff. Now, granted, you could order that stuff online. But the point is, without us having money, these systems don't have any money to operate with. So people are going to have to be employed, but it's just going to get tougher, and the hourly rates or salary rates are just definitely going to come down or remain stagnant. They're not going to get rich working at Amazon anytime soon, whatever you do, unless you're like, top level management or something like that. But just delivering packages and doing stuff like that, they're going to get rid of you. So, sorry. But nonetheless, well, let's see what we got here. I mean, has anybody in the chat been replaced by an AI yet? Or an automated system? Some job that you used to do, and all of a sudden they brought some new thing in that you basically had to program to do what it was you were doing. And then once it was able to do it efficiently, they didn't need you. This has happened already, and it's happening right now. Amazon's definitely one of the biggest purveyors of it. Because soon enough, they're going to have the trucks just delivering stuff on their own, like with no humans in the thing, and they'll probably have a little, robot dog hop out the back with the package and go up to the door. It's actually kind of sad, because some of these industries are still kind of new, like gig work for Amazon, Amazon Flex and stuff like that. That's still relatively new for the population. So it's like, as soon as people started really doing it, now it's about to be replaced by some robots. Actually, nonetheless, let's move over to our next purge of the day. And thank you, AXA, for stopping in. I like the fact that you are being interactive. I hope you hit the like button, though. Hope you did that. Oh, shouts to Tamara stopped in here today. Thank you, Tamara, for coming. Haven't seen you. Always good to have Tamara stop by. And everybody who's here, you guys are being real cool in the chat. I appreciate anybody who got rid of the trolls. I didn't even have to say nothing this time, so y'all are getting better. Thank you to the mods. But nonetheless, to piggyback on some of the comments I'm seeing, AI is pretty smart. But for what did that guy call it? He said mundane, lower intellectual tasks. Now that doesn't mean that you're stupid. It just doesn't take a lot of brain power to do it. You're screwed. Like a call center. Most call centers, the person that you talk to on the phone can't fix anything. They're a triage person. So when you get them on the phone, their job is to figure out who to get you to. And AI could do that. That's why you have so many automated systems now, talking about press 1 for this, press 2 for that. Eventually, you'll never get a human. You'll just get a bunch of digital systems and an email to follow up. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, let's get to this next thing, because I don't know if anybody's a fan of NBA YoungBoy, but this has been like this. I didn't understand what was going on, right? But it made headlines that NBA YoungBoy was doing a concert. And I'm thinking, well, you know, we'll do concerts all the time. There's nothing major about that. But because of the fact that people don't know how to act at previous concerts, they're calling in massive security updates or upgrades, so to speak. Like basically they're bringing in like 500 extra cops just to deal with his show in New Orleans. I think they even postponed it. And this is not NBA YoungBoy's fault, per se, because I saw at least one clip where he told people to calm it down. But I guess the question is, whose fault is this that people don't know how to behave at a damn concert? Like, who do we address as the problem person? Like, you can have something happen at one concert, but to the point where local governments are bringing in hundreds of extra police just for your little show, that means something's not right. Something wrong with that. So let's talk about that real quick.
Su salud.
God damn it with the ads, man. Anyway. Ads, I hate it. Hate it. But nonetheless, let's see how long this would. So we'll let the 18-second ad play through. And while we're doing that, make sure you hit the like button if you have not already. For those that are interested, jump on to our Discord, where we have a little bit more unhinged conversation over there because we don't have the YouTube content borders telling us we can't talk about stuff. All right, so let's check this.
As public safety is its top priority. Andres Fuentes breaks down how the department will patrol before, during, and after the concerts.
Baton Rouge native NBA YoungBoy will have a homecoming in New Orleans with his nearly sold-out concert tour. He's set to perform Sunday and Monday night at the Smoothie King Center. But the New Orleans Police Department says there's a chance the rapper's rivals plan on being at those concerts.
The intelligence we have.
Oh, that's what it is. So they think that NBA YoungBoy's ops, as it would be called, will be at the concert. So that's why they need the extra security. So it's not so much the crowd, like the regular crowd. It's, I guess one of the gang members must have put up a post on social media like, don't come to our city or whatever. I don't know. But they're doing all of this because of something social media started. That's what it is. I thought that there was like a previous incident, because I did see at least one incident where somebody got beat up at one of his concerts. I thought that's what this was for. No, this is because somebody said, hey, when you come to this town, we're going to be looking for you. Now, I don't know how true that is, but if it's enough to get 500 extra cops, I guess they took it pretty seriously.
Concert from various cities and various events that they've had in various police departments and our federal partners, their intel division. So I think that gives us concern.
With a sold-out crowd of 17,000 people each night, the NOPD says it's adding an additional 400 officers on 12-hour shifts.
12-hour
and federal
shifts?
agencies volunteered to monitor online chatter and be boots on the ground this weekend. It comes after one of NBA YoungBoy's Atlanta concerts was recently canceled after the rapper's entourage clashed with police at the arena's VIP entrance. But in an effort to keep the peace in New Orleans, officers will have walking patrols, bike patrols,
Barriers.
mounted patrols, and possible street closures.
Our public message to everyone is, one, NOPD is prepared for this event. Two is, if you're going to have to bring a gun, don't come down to the areas of interest.
I mean,
For the 2 nights of the NBA YoungBoy
do you need to
concert,
say that?
safety is a priority for NOPD, and that's something that businesses downtown appreciate.
That added security is always kind of a plus.
Added security is always a bonus.
The additional police manpower is welcomed for Canal Street businesses.
This seems like a bit much. 400 extra officers for NBA YoungBoy concert? Well, they're going to definitely, and shouts to AXA for the subscribe. Thank you for subscribing as well. I'm thinking that if nobody goes to jail that night, this will be a total waste of resources. So somebody got to go to jail that night. People have to go to jail when this happens. I don't know if this concert has happened yet. Earlier this week was this report. So I'm just going to say somebody going to jail that night. Whoever it is, you're going to be down there. You're going to jail that night because they got 400 extra officers down there. So somebody got to pay for that, and they're going to need to justify their existence, so to speak, by locking people up. So they're going to get you for trespassing. They're going to get you for standing on the wrong block where there's a border or barrier. They're going to get you if you stand in the way of the police trying to arrest someone else. They're going to get you for, what do they call that? Obstruction of justice. So, yeah, people are going to jail that night. So if you can, please stay away from the NBA YoungBoy concert if you do not have a ticket. Like, if you got a ticket, go see the concert. Because this is more for, like, the outside. And I guess that's where things are going down. People are outside chilling, parking lot pimping, as it would be called. And that's where a lot of the beef happens. Most of the ops don't buy tickets to the show. The ops got to catch you slipping on the way out. But they don't normally buy front row tickets to your show. So we'll see how this goes. But I feel like the heightened security is going to justify some weird-ass behavior because it's going to be cops everywhere who want a reason to be there, and people are going to probably start cussing at the police and maybe even throwing stuff at them. Who knows? You know, especially if they start trying to cattle herd them around, like, no, you can't go down this street. You got to go down this street. They start doing all that on the regular public streets. Yeah, people will start acting out because it's a bunch of youngins, mostly. I mean, I don't know anybody over 40 that goes to a NBA YoungBoy concert unless they're taking their child there or something, but I would imagine it's going to be a bunch of 20-somethings out there. A few of them are going to be nefarious characters. So be careful in New Orleans if you're going to this show. The police are going to be in a heightened state of aggression, and so are the people. So y'all need to be careful out there. That's a bit much for a rap show. Just saying, 400 officers, that's a lot. In addition to what they would have normally had there anyway. They had to call in extra people for NBA YoungBoy. So he's creating safe spaces. NBA YoungBoy is creating safe spaces because now there's going to be so many police that nothing will happen. Or at least that's what we hope. All right. I've never been to New Orleans. I've never been, okay? So I've never been to New Orleans. So anybody who's been there, I don't know. I've heard about Fat Tuesday and Mardi Gras and stuff like that. I've just never been. I have heard some good and some bad, you know, about New Orleans. So careful out there. But nonetheless, let's get into one of the funnier segments. All right, so some of y'all may have seen this clip of Kendrick Perkins. If you don't know who Kendrick Perkins is, Kendrick Perkins used to be basketball, a retired basketball player. Now he's a sports commentator. And he decided to basically shoot his shot at his co-host. That's what I saw. He shot a shot at the co-host on live TV. Now, there's two different opinions of this. Some people find it humorous, clever to a degree. Other people are saying that he was being disrespectful and misogynist and all of that. I'm going to let y'all see the clip. I'm pulling it up on Self Talk's channel, so shouts to Self Talk. Doing a quick story on it. Let me bring it over. Perkins. Go. All right. No reply got the rules. The rule is this. Be careful if you're ever in New Orleans, and be extra careful if you're in New Orleans at an NBA YoungBoy concert. That sounds like some good information right there. Yeah. Simple enough, right? Simple enough. Y'all know what we say over here. You gots to be more careful. Gots to be. So nonetheless, let's look at this. I want y'all to see the clip. And no, this isn't the lady. This is just who they put in this clip. But she's gorgeous. I don't know who she is. But listen to the clip, and then we're going to discuss whether or not you think he should be canceled, because that's what they're calling for, or if it's just a lighthearted joke.
And that, you know, he left his co-host uncomfortable. Let's check out this clip right here.
Well done.
You ready for this one?
God.
Hold on a second. I need you. Bring this up a little bit. Sorry. Trying to adjust this in real time because I need y'all to see the whole situation going. There we go. That should do. For my vertical feed. I know that the vertical phone. Nobody gets to see the horizontal no more. I would mess up my nose. So, just for reporting purposes. But anyway, this is Kendrick Perkins on the right, the dark-skinned gentleman. And this is his co-host, whose name I don't know because I don't really watch this show. All right? So, play it.
Well done.
You ready for this one?
God.
What you need ibuprofen for when you have a perk?
The lean back.
All right. If you didn't catch it, apparently she must have made a mention of having a headache and needing Tylenol or ibuprofen. And his response is, what do you need an ibuprofen for when you could have you a perk? Which is him. He's the perk. So people are saying that Kendrick Perkins was talking about his penis as the perk, which to them is absolutely disgusting because they feel like the reference of the perk was because you would put ibuprofen in your mouth. And so they basically saying that what he was trying to say was you need to put this Perkins penis in your mouth. I don't think that's what he was saying, but that's what some people took it as. So I need to know how y'all feel. Because me personally, I thought he was just shooting his shot on live TV. It was actually relatively catchy as a joke. He's Kendrick Perkins. Why you need an ibuprofen when you could have a perk? He's probably been waiting years to use that line. He has been waiting years for some woman to be in front of him and say something about aspirin or ibuprofen or some medication so that he can say, why don't you try a perk? That'll get you right. So, I don't know. I thought it was funny, but the interwebs are calling for him to be canceled for being a misogynist, nasty bastard. And I think what really messed it up, he should have laughed immediately. You see what I'm saying? He should have immediately laughed, like just, it was a total joke. But the way that he sat back on it, you see the sit back? You see that? Like, yeah, what you gonna do with that? Like, I'm putting the ball in your court. Like, that's where it did get a little old man creepy style. Okay? He could have said it differently. Now, I don't know if this woman is married or not. Like I said, I don't really know who she is because I don't watch the show. But this clip was sent to me saying, cancel Kendrick Perkins. And I'm like, damn, what Kendrick Perkins do? And this is apparently what he did. So, yo, Al is funny. He said he was suggesting that drugs could be an issue. So maybe she needs some good drugs. So Kendrick Perkins might have been supporting drug use, if you hear it different. Like if you don't know who Kendrick Perkins is and you just hear a guy say, hey, what you need an ibuprofen for when when you could have a perk, meaning I might have some and I can give you one. That could be misconstrued that way if all you heard was the audio and knew nothing about Kendrick Perkins. But no replied. We all know that activity of a sexual nature is helpful to society. I stand on this. I stand on that because I see a lot of the mass shooters and people that do wild out stuff are normally guys that don't get a lot of box. So I'm making the connection because I've seen this pattern develop. And it's like maybe if they were getting some, they wouldn't be so stressed out and tight and wilding out. But I also can't expect box to just be freely given with the possibility that it will stop crime. But I would love to have that argument. Like, get some data and say, look, these guys weren't getting none, and these guys are, and the guys that are seem to just be going to work, taking care of their families, and doing all of that. And these guys that aren't are wilding out and school shooting and stuff. So, and see, Tamara? See? So apparently to some people, it was a sexual reference. I'm going to leave it up to the interwebs and ESPN and those folks with this one because I feel like it's a little sensitive if they cancel him over it. But maybe he's got to, I hate to say it, maybe he's going to have to come out and apologize or something. I said something on the air that was inappropriate and da-da-da-da. Maybe he's going to have to do something like that. I don't think they're going to cancel. But when the lean back made me feel, it felt like he was talking to me. When he did the lean back, I felt like Kendrick. No. Oh, my God, Kendrick, did you just say that? So, I don't know. And the lady seemed to take it well. She sort of laughed it off, but who knows what happened after the fact. But right now, the talk is, and the hashtag is cancel Kendrick Perkins. I'm going to say this as a straight male who sees that, yes, this woman is attractive. I don't know if she's married. If she is married, it's a little disrespectful to do that. On the air like that. Not even on air. It's just disrespectful. You get it. But if she's not, and he was just kind of shooting his shot, being a little flirtatious, I don't think that's against the law. You know, maybe there's an anti-flirt thing at their job, so to speak. You can't flirt with coworkers. I've heard that stuff before. But people always sleep with people at the job. They're close to you. You know, I'm not saying everybody sleeps with everybody at the job, but there's always people sleeping together at the job because they're close. So, I don't know. You're right, Tamara. It's not appropriate, but he's an older guy. He's got to shoot his shots stiff. He's not going to sugarcoat it at this point in life. He's saying what he mean and how he feel, and we got to allow him to have that. Now, but like I said, the lean back where it was like, so what you going to do now? That definitely felt creepy, and so I can see why that would feel creepy, but I don't think he should lose his whole damn career over it, even though that's what they're calling for. But me personally, I think that's bullshit. So we're going to move to the next. Okay, well, since we're talking about basketball here, all right, do we have any MJ fans, Michael Jordan fans? This is all right. So apparently MJ, Michael of the Jordan, has decided to do a show to pay it back. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's saying. Michael Jordan is paying it forward is the clip or caption that was sent to me. So we're going to see what that means, because if Michael Jordan's doing a TV show about himself to earn money for himself, how is that paying us back? Paying us back because we get to see your ass in the movie? Because we want to see you in the movie? You feel like we want to see you in the movie, so your payment is us seeing you in the show? I don't know. You know what? I'll let the clip play, and we'll see what it's. But I will warn anybody, this is probably NBC's clip, and it's going to get yanked down after this live. So seeing it here, I'll put the link in the description, but the replay probably will not see it. Let's see what we got.
Jordan has pointed a spectacular hole again.
Okay. So it's a Jordan show.
It's amazing. You never really know when you're in the,
here we go.
in the prime of your career how much time you really do not have for family. That's what I have time to do now. I mean, the most valuable asset I have is time.
Right.
So that's probably why you don't see enough of me, because that time I'm trying to spend with family members and things that I've been missing out on for such a long time.
Do you ever pick up a ball and just shoot?
I haven't picked up a ball in years.
No, come on, just like walk past. There's got to be a hoop somewhere at your place.
You don't see a hoop anywhere around here, right?
I don't. Like,
It's a
seriously,
reason. It's
the
a
last
reason.
time you
It's a
picked up a
reason.
basketball and shot it?
I was at the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
And I rented a house from the owner.
Sure.
He came over to do pictures. He had grandkids. And I was meet and greet and thank him for allowing me to stay in the house. And he had a basketball court. He says, I want you to shoot one free throw. I said, really? And I already paid for the house. It's not like he got to see me. So when I stepped up to shoot the free throw, it's the most nervous I've been in years.
Stop it.
In years.
Stop it. Come on.
And the reason being is those kids heard the stories from the parents about what I did 30 years ago.
Right.
So their expectation is 30 years prior, and I haven't touched the basket.
All right, I got to ask, do y'all think he missed the free throw? I think he made the free throw, but let's find out. But it's a good question. I wonder if he missed the free throw.
I hope you switched it.
Absolutely.
See, there you go.
I got the most gratifying, that made my whole week, is that I was able to please that kid, not knowing if I could.
So you let us bring a camera or two to your place here to talk to you about basketball. Why do you want to share what you're thinking about basketball now?
It's pay it forward. You know, I have an obligation to the game of basketball, not financially. I'm okay. I mean, I think more or less from as a basketball player is to be able to pass on messages of success and dedication to the game of basketball.
Still love it?
Love it like you wouldn't believe. I mean, in all honesty, I wish I can take a magic pill, put on shorts, and go out and play.
Ooh, he's talking about drugs. No, I'm just playing.
The game of basketball today. Because that's who I am. That's that type of competition, that type of competitiveness is what I live for, and I miss it. I miss that aspect of playing the game of basketball, being able to challenge myself.
Misses the gunshots, basically.
What people see as great basketball, but it's better for me to be sitting here talking to you as opposed to popping my Achilles and I'm in a wheelchair for a while.
But it's nice to be able to share the things that can still make the game great going forward from your perspective.
Yeah, I think one of the things why I did this is as professional athletes, we have an obligation to pay it forward. You know, that's part of what, this is all about, is to pass it, pay it forward.
Okay. All right. Well, it's nice. And I see what he's going for there. I don't know if this is a mini series or are we just going to, every week, are we going to talk to Michael Jordan about GOAT stuff? I don't know. I don't know where this is going, but I'm glad that it wasn't just a bunch of talk about how good he was. He's talking about spending time with family and, a lot of things he missed out on as a player because he was so dedicated to his profession. And it's kind of like, you won't be the greatest if you don't sacrifice something. Your family will be sacrificed to a degree if you've got to spend time to become the greatest at something. So I think that's pretty honest of him to say that. Yeah, I was definitely, I thought it was going to be something different. I thought he was just going to be talking about how good he was at basketball, but it looks like he wants to have time to provide insight to the younger players and maybe to the rest of the population. But just the thought that Michael Jordan hadn't picked up a basketball in however many years, but he did swish the free throw. Hey, that muscle memory don't go away. He shot hundreds of thousands of free throws. So even at his age, his body knew what to do. He probably thought he was going to miss it because he was that nervous, but the body still knew. So you know what? Michael Jordan will always be the GOAT to me. I know there will be a person that'll tell me LeBron's the GOAT, or there's somebody that'll tell me Kobe was the GOAT or whatever. I'm from the time period I'm from, and I saw some things in real time that you wouldn't believe from that Michael Jordan guy. So until I see the same from somebody else consistently, I'm going to always say that he's okay. Really? All right. So nonetheless, any of my MJ fans, guys will tune into this and see what he's talking about. I'll give it a couple of episodes. I'll see what he's talking about. And if he says something crazy, I'll bring it back to the Purge of the BS. But I do feel like Michael Jordan stayed off of the radar in a certain way. So for him to come back onto it and say, I feel like I owe it to the game. Now, some people are going to say, well, Michael Jordan needs money. No, he don't. He does not. Jordan's not broke. That's not why he's doing it. Not about a check. He good for life. People are still wearing his shoes. He hasn't played since the 90s. And they still put his clothing and shoes on with his name on there. So he good. All right? So nonetheless, it was a different game. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't really compare Jordan to LeBron because Jordan had to play against some really feisty players. The 90s NBA was kind of brutal. Like, you would catch an elbow coming through the lane, quick. And they hadn't even come up with all of the flagrant foul types at that point. It wasn't flagrant 1, flagrant 2, all it. No. It was either a flagrant technical foul or it was not. And so over time, they've softened the game up a little bit, and I see a lot more players flopping now. Back then, they wasn't flopping. They was getting knocked the hell down by some 260-pound 7-footer running them over. So, nonetheless, MJ's always going to be my favorite. As long as he doesn't come out there and say some like totally ignorant shit, I'm pretty much rolling with MJ all the way as the GOAT, and you can't tell me no different. So I hope this show works out for him. I hope that he does give some insight to somebody that might change somebody's life, because it's always good when you see a professional person who dedicated their life to competition coming back to tell people, hey, if you sit on your ass, you won't win. If you don't pursue excellence, you'll never reach it. Michael Jordan did that. Kobe did that. LeBron does that. You know, yeah, people have their thoughts about LeBron, but you think that playing in the NBA for as long as he has is easy? It's not. It's not. He's been playing since he was like 17, 18 years old. And he's in his late 30s now. If he's not 40. I don't know how old LeBron is right now, but I'm saying he's been playing at a relatively high level as well for quite some time. And the human body is not designed to do that. Now, I don't think LeBron could have played as long if he'd have played in the 90s, because they would have beat him up. And he would have had to deal with Shaq at some point. You see what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. LeBron been in there for a long time, and that in and of itself does deserve a certain level of respect. So he's a GOAT in his own right. Whether you think he's the greatest to ever do it, he is one of the greatest to ever do it. I believe MJ is the greatest to ever do it, but if he's not that, he's at least one of the great, and we can all agree on that, right? Let's move into this next. I got you. I know. Nobody wanted to hear about MJ. All right, we only got like 2 more, so let's see what our timing looks like. Good, we still got some time. So this is one, we're just going to touch and go on this next one because it is probably going to turn into some bullshit with Ben Crump later. But basically, out in Oakland, recently there was a interaction between police and an ex-football player by the name of Doug Martin. So if you've never seen Doug Martin or watched him play, he was actually pretty good. He only played for a couple of years, though, so he wasn't like super well known, but he was an NFL football player. And he suffered from what a lot of the football players suffer from, which is mental health issues due to CTE, getting a bunch of concussions, and they lose their mind. If you guys don't know about the Hernandez guy, ended up unaliving like 3 people. He was wild. Now, they did a whole movie on him. I forgot what it was called, though, but they did a whole movie on him. And so apparently this guy, Doug Martin, was having a mental health breakdown and ended up in somebody else's house, like down the street from his own house. So he wasn't in a whole different state. He was in the neighborhood that he would normally be in, but he was in someone else's house. The police were called, and then the police showed up, and then there's a bunch of gray area, and the guy ends up unalive. And he wasn't under At least they haven't said that he was under like a drug-induced something or had some other underlying physical issue like a bad heart or something like that. They haven't said it. So I'm going to run this clip real quick, which I believe is his mother jumping on here. I think this is his mom. And like I said, we're going to come back to this story because once I see the body cam, then we can talk again. But they haven't released the body cam just yet. And that's a little suspicious too. Nobody's seen it. Like the family hasn't seen it. Public hasn't seen it. That always strikes me as strange when they won't at least show like the attorneys or somebody in a back room what this body cam. So hopefully that comes out this week. So keep an eye out for it. Has to say.
Words cannot explain how caring he was.
Close friends of former NFL player Doug Martin grieved his tragic death at this home in the Oakland Hills over the weekend, where police say he was involved in a break-in. And after a struggle with police, they say he became unresponsive and died while in custody.
That sounds like a
Martin's
chokehold.
Said Martin privately battled mental health issues, adding Doug's parents were actively seeking medical assistance for him and had contacted authorities for support.
Oh, let me pause that right there. Do you hear that? Doug's parents were actively seeking medical assistance for him and had contacted local authorities for support. So the local authorities were already aware that he was having a mental and medical issue. And we got into these stories before on this channel about why there's no requirement to contact an actual therapist when they get these phone calls, because police officers are not trained to really deal with mental health issues. So if the guy is in therapy or whatever, they should have a damn psychologist on site with them, talking through a bullhorn, something, trying to mitigate the situation from a mental health perspective instead of a breaking and entering perspective. See, breaking and entering perspective is there's a dangerous person in the house because they broke in here. They could be viewed as dangerous to the people that live here. But what if a person just doesn't know where they are and they're like losing it and they break into somebody's house? Are they a danger or are they just confused? And if the guy's just confused, the officers need to approach it as such, not approach it as if he broke in there trying to harm or hurt a particular family. And I think that's where things get a little funky. And maybe that's why the body cam wasn't released. But they said a struggle ensued. So if you ensue a struggle, it sounds like they got him in a chokehold and put his ass to sleep and he didn't wake up. That's what it sounds like to me. But I haven't seen the body cam, okay? But I'm just saying, the way that they're describing it sounds like they put him in a submission hold and he passed out and never came back.
Feeling overwhelmed and disoriented, Doug fled his home during the night and entered a neighbor's residence
2 doors down.
Oakland police declined to comment on the mental health issues, citing their ongoing investigation. Oakland City Council member Ken Houston has been in touch with police over the encounter.
I heard he was down the street from a house that he was familiar with. He could have got confused. We don't know. But the one thing we do know is that the police will do their research. I believe that they'll do it thoroughly. They have 45 days to release the footage from the day of the incident, and we'll see it.
Some criminal justice experts call for more training.
Police departments have to be, they're first responders. They have to be trained in recognizing when a person is having a mental health episode.
Okay, all right, we're not even going to do that because it's not just about the recognizing of the fact that it's going on. The police probably knew that, because it says that the parents called the police seeking help for mental and medical issues. So the police were fully aware that the guy was wilding out. It's just once they get to the person, they don't know how to deal with people that are wilding out because they're strapped with weapons. And they've been taught if a person's aggressing towards you, you shoot for center mass. You know what I'm saying? Pop that taser on them. Whatever you got to do, hit them with the billy club. Whatever you, that's their tactics. If somebody come at them weird and funny, they respond in that way. So instead of expecting some people who aren't that smart, some officers are not that smart. They were not the top of their class. Some of them. I'm sure there's some smart ones with high IQs, but there's also some that barely passed high school and they couldn't do much else with their life, but they had a clean record and they become cops. Okay, we're not gonna play the game like all police officers are freaking geniuses, right? So some of those not so smart cops are still not going to get it if you try to train them. So you need a protocol that says if a person calls with this and says this is what's going on, we have a team of on-call psychiatrists or psychologists that we can contact to help deal with these kind of situations, or contact the actual mental health professional that's dealing with that person. Contact their doctor immediately. Doc, we got your patient wilding out at such and such address. What do you think we should do? But they never seem to do that. They never talk to the damn mental health professional until after the person gets unalived. So, my proposal is simple. We just add it as part of the protocol. If you get a call about a mental health issue and somebody's wilding out, you call this number and they send or assign a mental health professional to assist the officer in that case. And the officer's job is to protect the mental health professional while they do their duties. So the officer's not thinking about his own life. He's a protector of the mental health professional more so than his own thing. I don't know. I could be wrong. Okay? I just think that this is a relatively simple, the mental health part of it isn't simple, but at least adding a mental health professional to calls when they get information that the person's having a mental health breakdown, and there's a good chance this person has a primary mental health doctor, at minimum, give them a call and say, hey, is there anything we should know about your patient before we get over here? Like, what's the deal? What's the actual diagnosis? Are they manic depressant? Are they schizophrenic? What am I looking at? So they don't just come up in there blind with, I'm going to protect myself with deadly force if this person moves too damn fast. That's all I'm saying. So we're going to look into that case. When the body cam gets released, I guarantee Ben Crump will be on top of it. I don't know if he's finished with the roller coaster thing that he grifted over to for a moment, but this sounds like it's right up Ben Crump's alley. This one right here. Police, black man, mysterious circumstances. Yeah, Ben Crump is already on this. I guarantee it. If I look it up right now, Ben Crump's probably already representing somebody in this. Y'all know how I feel about Mr. Crump. I believe that he's doing well in the courtroom, but he does not advocate for anything outside of it. And that's where the community really needs his assistance. So, rest in peace to this gentleman, Mr. Doug Martin. I feel like it didn't have to be like that, but we won't know until we see the body cam. I'll make sure that y'all tune in for the body cam released video when I get it. Right? Keeping it moving. All right, so this one is interesting, guys, because I, like many people, have been following the Charlie Kirk investigative case, okay? And a lot of people have differences of opinion on, who did what, who sold Charlie out, whatever, what have you. And Candace Owens, if you don't know who Candace Owens is, Candace Owens used to only talk shit about black people years ago. And then she got in trouble for talking about Israel, or maybe she started talking about that particular group that runs Israel, if you know what I'm saying. And she said that, then she got fired. We did an episode then called Candace. I remember this episode. And I told everybody at that time that she was better off because she would be able to say more when she wasn't under that particular group. Well, she definitely did that. So since then, her podcast has taken off. She's got well over, 5 million subscribers on YouTube. She's the only newsy type channel that I know with those kind of numbers. I mean, maybe Joe Rogan is like that. I don't know how many Joe Rogan has, but I'm going to say this. Candace Owens is probably the biggest voice on this Charlie Kirk thing right now. Everybody's following her and what she's saying she found and all that. So her last 10 videos have been somewhat related to the Charlie Kirk investigation, and she has gotten well over 3 million views per video. Now, I don't know what kind of money that is, because I've never had a 3 million view video on this channel or any channel, to be honest with you. She's consistently doing it. She was doing that every day for at least two or 3 weeks since the thing happened, like the day after, up until recently. All of a sudden, there was a silence, almost a deafening silence from Candace Owens. And I don't know Candace Owens personally, but I'll tell you this. She ain't no silent type of person. Like, she's always saying something. Then all of a sudden, she goes silent. So there is some concerns that she has been hit with a gag order. Okay, so let's go over the story real quick. And if you're in the chat, if you have an opinion about Candace Owens personally, that is not what we're here for. Okay, we're talking about possibility that she's in trouble for saying something she wasn't supposed to say, and maybe getting a little bit too big for her britches, getting that at the end of the day, she's still just a little black lady on the internet. And if these big wigs want her touched, I keep telling you, touched. All right, let's go over the story. So, Candace Owens and Jay Coleman, you already know what I'm saying. You already know what I'm saying. I have warned people about Candace Owens. Love her or hate her, she be talking. And some of the stuff that she says has merit. Some stuff, she's way out left field. She can get into conspiracy theories. There's a lot to it. But I've listened to a few of her podcasts, and there's a few topics that she's pretty on point with. And when she goes into an investigative thing, she really does try to investigate. She's flown to other countries to try to find people's heritage when she was doing the thing about Kamala Harris. I mean, she really puts some work in. So I had to give her some respect on that. And I'll give her respect on this. Ever since Candace Owens went independent, or whatever this is that she did after Daily Wire, she got smoke for whoever get the smoke. It is not just black people. She does not care. Whoever's available in the smoke show, she doesn't seem to discriminate anymore. And that's why I'm like, I kind of respect her on that level. I wasn't a big Candace Owens fan, especially not early on. I was like, this little petite little black lady, all she doing is talking shit about black people. And I had my thing there, and I was like, why is she always doing that? Well, she came away from that and said, they paid me to do that. So now that group isn't paying her to just do that, guess what she started doing? Talking shit about everybody. She got the damn French president suing her. She's just a person. She's not even a political figure. She's just a human on YouTube talking shit. But the shit she talks stinks so much that people smell it from across the sea, and they come for her. But one thing, she has been a jerk to people. She's been condescending. She's been outright mean. But one thing she has never been is quiet. She ain't never been quiet. I haven't heard nothing from her other than some cryptic post on X about she's getting ready to violate a gag order. So did they put Candace Owens on a gag order about the Charlie Kirk conspiracy? I don't know officially, but I feel like they might have. Why? Because she ain't never quiet. She hasn't been quiet since Charlie got shot. And she wasn't quiet before then. So why be quiet now? Podcast hasn't aired in 12 days. At least not on YouTube. She hasn't been on in 12 days. So everybody's talking about it right now because she made this mention of a gag order. So some people are saying she's lying, there's no gag order. And then other people are saying there is a gag order. I don't know. But what I do know is that Candace Owens ain't never been quiet. So if she is quiet, maybe there's reason to be concerned. Maybe she got touched. And you see what I'm saying? Maybe they gave her the phone call and said, hey, if you don't stop, your family, we coming for. And you know we can do it. And if you're Candace Owens, what do? I'd be quiet. Now, she said she's going to release a bunch of stuff to people and she's going to release a bunch of information, but I don't believe it. I believe she's going to shut up. I believe they're going to put her in a bag like they did Alex Jones and almost make her lose her entire thing that she rebuilt. Because she lost it initially coming from Daily Wire. Then she rebuilt bigger than that. And this is hers. This ain't, I'm sure she's getting paid by somebody. But I'm saying Daily Wire was her employer before. At this point, I don't know who her employer is. I don't know if it's herself. I don't know if it's some organization. But her name is the one in the corner. Her name is the one on the podcast. Her face is the one on the thumbnails. It's her shit. And she's killing. But all of a sudden, she went quiet. So let's see. They're saying some fans have speculated that Owens' silence has to do with a recent gag order issued by a 4th District Judge Tony Graff in the state for the case of State versus Tyler Robinson, prohibiting attorneys on both sides from making public statements that could possibly hinder the outcome of the alleged assassin's trial. Okay, I hear that, but Candace Owens isn't an attorney, so that shouldn't affect her at all. Why would she be quiet? No, she got the call, guys. She got the call. I don't know who called. I don't know if they called with a little voice thing and they were like, your family, but they made the call. Candace Owens off for 2 weeks. No Candace voice, and nobody knows what's up. Y'all need to go check on her. Go stop by the house, do a wellness check on Candace. Somebody go check on Candace for me, please, and make sure they didn't put her out back by the trees. And now they got somebody on the other side just posted on her social media. I don't know, but I'm just saying it's weird. And for somebody who's constantly talking about not being silenced and not being suppressed and not being this, all of a sudden being quiet without an official gag order that specifically refers to her, it just doesn't sit well with me. It does not sit well with me. I want to know what's going on. And I don't care. I don't tune into every one of Candace Owens' podcasts, but I noticed that she wasn't saying nothing. You see what I'm saying? I noticed that she was saying a lot, and then I noticed when she wasn't saying a lot. So that means I'm obviously not the only person that's going to notice that shit. Millions of people. She got 5 million something people on YouTube. They've all noticed that Candace ain't saying nothing. So somebody, please, go ahead and stop by Candace Owens' house. Because the last thing she said was, yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone and that she was going to violate the gag order. So y'all can say what you want about how you feel about Candace, but if she was even remotely on to something for what she was talking about these last 2 weeks, if she was remotely close on any of those theories or some of the angles that people were seeing, and I've seen some stuff that made me question some things. So I don't know if she's right or wrong, but there were definitely some fishy acts that happened in that whole Charlie Kirk thing. And if she's got information and she's not sharing it, it's because she has either been threatened or she's been legally gagged. And a gag order legally just says you can't speak about specific things. You can speak about being under a gag order. You can say, hey, I can't talk about that. I'm legally not allowed to talk about that. She's not saying nothing. So y'all hear me out. Y'all know Candace is my booski. That's my booski. She's like a little sister that you can't get her to be quiet. Like she always got to say something like, sis, be quiet. Shh, chill out. But at the same time, I respect her persistence. She's definitely not right all the time. I'll say that. But I respect her persistence. And I respect anybody that dives into things and tries to search for truth. Now, if she comes up with a total lie and presents it to us as truth, that's a whole different thing. But exploring theories until you get answers, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of questions around that Charlie Kirk thing. And I believe that, you know, some of the theories that she spoke about, she's not the only one that talked about it. She's just the biggest name to talk about it. So I'll tell you right now, somebody please go stop by whatever her address is, do a wellness check on Candace Owens, because I believe that something is going on behind the scenes that could be dangerous to her and her family. That's just me talking. Me and Candace are not friends. I don't know this woman personally, but I know patterns and I know women. And a silent woman who wasn't silent before is a pattern that we've never seen. So something's off, okay? I don't know what it is, just something's off. Why don't you check that out for me? All right, let's get into this last piece. Cameron, you right. Whistleblowers disappear all the time. That was just on the other episode where I was talking about Sam Altman and Tucker Carlson talking about him and one of his whistleblowers that, you know, magically committed the S word, but had all this evidence to say the otherwise. And Sam Altman was like, I feel like you're accusing me of something. He was like, I'm not trying to accuse you of nothing, but You don't think this is a little fishy? You know, like that's where it makes you look guilty, is when you're not able to grasp the reality that this looks weird. Even if, hey, we don't know what happened, but something happened. We can agree to that. So that's how I feel about the Candace thing. I don't know what changed, but something happened. Hopefully she's okay. But I'm sure there's a number of people on the internet that if something did happen to Candace, if she went the way of Charlie Kirk, there would be people rejoicing in her demise as well. And y'all sick for that, because that would be somebody's mama and wife and all that just got same thing with Charlie Kirk. So, we got to have lines, guys. So anybody who's a Candace Owens person, please tell Candace we just wondering if she good, blink twice if you need some help. And we'll send the cavalry over there. So let's get to this last piece so I can get up out of here, because I've been holding off on talking about this because I needed official information. And the topic is the SNAP benefit cut that is expected to happen in, a week? Yeah, a week. So a week from now, on the 1st of November, there's an expectation that no states in the United States will distribute SNAP benefits. We're going to talk about this. Because the internet has now been filled with people who are basically threatening to, they're threatening to start stealing. Okay, I've seen that, but I don't want to get into that part just yet. That's going to be the second part. First part is, that's MS. I don't even want to do that clip. Let's go. All right, fine. Let's go to the TikTok situation with people wilding out. With the wilding out. Then we'll come if I want to. All right, so I'm going to first say the lady in this video I have definitely seen before, and she's been talking a lot of stuff about government assistance for quite some time, almost as if she's trolling. So I believe she is trolling. But her sentiment sounds similar to that which I've heard on other people's channels, so we're going to play it anyway. Okay? Check it out.
I called my local DSS office and I asked them to confirm whether or not what I was hearing was true, knowing it was true, that SNAP benefits are not coming next month. And she said, yeah, no, you're right, they're not coming. I said, okay, well, I hadn't heard anything, confirming what I'm hearing, so I was just calling to check. And she said, you're not going to hear anything. And I said, well, why? And she said, well, your local DSS are trying to figure out what's going on, but the state DSS is not planning on telling anybody what's going on. They're not planning on letting the citizens know that they're not going to get their food stamps next month. She also said that this would likely go on into December, that we will likely not get December's SNAP benefits. So that's great. That's lovely.
All right, I got to pause this for a second. This lady's life, I have questions. Okay? I've seen her on the internet before. What I never noticed before, I guess she hadn't done in the car content. Do y'all see the roof on this woman's car? She got the staples on the cloth. This is like an old-ass Oldsmobile. She got staples and thumbtacks in the damn roof of her car. So suffice to say that her biggest issue is not just food stamps. She's got like a life problem. The way she's living is overall a problem. And I guess her little hope and light at the end of the tunnel was those food stamps every month. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now, anybody that's got a roof like that in their car, they do need some help. And it might be food. She might not be lying. She might not have been trolling the whole time. I've been calling this woman a troll. But if you get on the internet with that roof, you're not ashamed of what people might think, knowing that you could have a small family of raccoons living in the ceiling of your car, and you come on the internet like that, you really must be struggling. So even though she's probably trolling, she's also struggling. She's a struggling troll.
So I'm coming to TikTok in hopes that there is an answer here. I don't know what the answer could be. I don't know what the solution could be. I
Now,
don't know if it's,
hold
is it
on a
mutual
second
aid?
now, but she's got some AirPods that look pretty expensive on the ears there. I'm just saying.
If it's, is it
You see
mutual
'em?
aid?
Yeah.
Is it mutual aid? Do we all need to come together and start pooling our money and help these families like myself, like my mother, like my grandmother, who don't have the money to replace those benefits, who don't have the income to replace those benefits? Do we, what do we do? Because there are children, there are elderly, there are disabled people who do not have the money.
This is true.
I have 3 children. And I have to feed them.
Yo, that was like on cue. Did you hear the baby in the back? Yeah, me. Yeah. Or did she say, yeah, you do? That's what it sounded like. She said, I have 3 kids. Somebody said, yeah, you do. In the back.
And I have 3 children. And I have to feed them. The last time I came on here and talked to you guys about the SNAP benefits, I was full on crashing out. I'm not crashing out this time. I'm scared, but I'm fucking angry. This time I'm angry. And I will not just sit here and mope and cry about it. I will not sit here and just panic and sit in the floor and scream and cry this time. This time we need a plan. We need something that we can do together to figure this out. If you know of any creators, any organizations that are pulling stuff together and are trying to figure out what's going on, help me.
That's actually pretty sad. I thought it was going to be some humor in it. The baby sound was humorous. But that's pretty sad. That was on TikTok. What's the other one? I'll tell you what, she got them AirPods don't look cheap. But the ceiling of that car has definitely seen better days. The ceiling of this vehicle, this whole side over here, and then there's some holes back here. I don't know if they're cigarette burns or what. But she did mention something that I thought was interesting. She mentioned something called mutual aid, which a lot of people don't know about. But it's basically regular people coming together and putting it together. So let's just say I got some canned goods, you got some canned goods. Nobody's got to spend any money on these things because we already have them. We pool together at whatever location, a house, a park. We put all this stuff together and we invite people out to come and get it. There are some people that have financial options that they can, help financially when people need assistance. So there is a level of mutual aid available. But what it's not going to do is give you $1,100 a month in food. If you do get some type of mutual aid, you'll get some canned goods. You might get like a week of food, maybe some bread. You're going to have to hit the soup kitchens. You're going to have to hit the food distribution joints. You're going to have to find a way around it. If you do not have money to buy food and they say you can't do it. But I thought that the whole shutdown, or the food stamps piece had a work requirement that would also allow you to still qualify. So apparently you don't qualify if you're not working, but you're able to work. So disabled people, elderly people, y'all aren't the ones that need to be worried. The people who are actually disabled, like they have a real physical disability, like they could get disability plates on their car type people, not folks that are screaming they got, I'm not going to say it, mental health issues, but they really don't. Some people just think they're crazy and they're not. They're just angry. Those people are going to have to go to work. And here's the hit. The 20-hour, I think it's 20 hours. Is it 20 hours per week or 20 hours per month? Now, that matters because the amount that you make in each hour is how you get disqualified for the same benefits that you're going back to work to qualify for. So let's say you have a 20-hour week requirement and you work those 20 hours at, let's say, $12 an hour. You have just disqualified yourself from the same benefits that you're working to try to qualify for. I'll say it to you one more time if y'all didn't understand that. If you have a 20-hour work requirement, forget if it's a week or a month. If you work 20 hours a week or 20 hours in a month at $15 an hour, let's see how much that is. I don't know. All right. So 20 hours a week at $15 an hour is $300 a week. Okay. Once you crack, I want to say it's $1,200 a month, somewhere around. It's either 12 or it's 15. But once you crack one of those, you don't qualify anyway. So unless you are working for about $11 an hour, you're going to disqualify yourself from the benefit. So that's the catch. And that's part of the big, beautiful bill, is the work requirement. So none of that changes. So you might as well just reopen the damn government and send people the SNAP benefits that you're going to send them and put the work requirement on the people you was going to put it on. None of this is new, folks. This is what I'm trying to tell you. The stuff that they're complaining about right now, they said this shit months ago. It's just now it's like really actually happening. For some people, November benefits weren't coming anyway. For some people, you were going to get cut off by January 1st anyway. See what I'm saying? So the folks who do qualify and will continue to qualify, guess what the government's going to end up doing for them? They're going to give them back benefits if they miss something. Just like the furloughed employees get back pay, people will get back benefits. So if they miss a month, the next month they end up with $1,000 or whatever they get times 2. But the people who didn't qualify ain't going to get shit. So this lady needs to go get a job. I hate to say it. She's been on the internet for the last couple of months complaining about this same thing. And she's right. The first time she was crashing out. This time she is way calmer. She needs to stay calm and go get a job. That's what she needs to do. Because if not, she's going to end up like this other person who was literally wilding out. And I think he's trolling, but his sentiment is that of many people right now on the internet. Check this out. This guy. So he's basically crying about losing food stamps. Now, first of all, we all know as a man, nobody's going to have no sympathy for you. So that's why I knew he was trolling. Because we know a dude getting on there crying about food stamps, there's no sympathy available for you, sir. None. You look able-bodied. You come on here with like your eyeballs missing, you're blind or something like that. Yeah, okay. We'd have to find you a Braille job, but you still might be able to pull something off. But check this guy out, okay?
I got an email from EBT. I used to get $740 a month for my 2 kids, and we're not getting EBT no more. They took the EBT. They saying I gotta work 20 hours a week. I'm not working for nobody. Get the fuck out of here. This is what Americans, taxpayer, work for us. They work for me. They gotta help me feed my fucking kids. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be quitters now. Y'all been helping us all this fucking time. Now y'all want to tap out. Get the fuck out of here. I want my EBT, yo. I want my EBT, and I'm not working for nobody. I'm a fucking boss. What the fuck I look like working? When the government...
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there, sir. The boss does not get food stamps. Okay? I know that might be harsh for some, but the boss doesn't get that. You don't get to be claiming the boss and pulling government assistance at the same time. You got to choose a side, sir. You're either a dependent or you're head of fucking household. You get me? And you sound more like a dependent, sir. And like I said, I feel like he's trolling, but even that as a dude, like if I got on here and I started saying that, like just for the sake of saying it, people would still call me things. They'd be like, you stupid. Why are you on there, sir? Go get a job. Go get a job, sir. Go get a job, especially you. Now, if you are disabled or really old, you have some type of physical disability or serious mental issue like Down syndrome and shit. Hey, I know Down syndrome kids working at the Walmart. They can't even formulate a whole sentence, but they can say, hi, welcome Walmart. And that's all they got to say. And they got a job. So this guy, I think he could be working. He's trolling. He's got to be trolling.
Is here to help. Come on. Y'all send all that money to Iraq, Ukraine. Y'all funding all these wars. But when it's time to help the Americans, y'all don't want to fucking help us? I need my fucking EBT, yo. I need my money, yo. I need my fucking EBT.
He's very animated about it.
Yo.
I believe he's trolling. That's what I believe he's trolling. But let's see what it really says here, okay?
President Trump's big policy bill changes work requirements for unless someone qualifies for an exemption like a disability. All participants between the ages of 18 and 64 must now work or volunteer. Under the old rules, the age cutoff was 54.
Oh, did you hear volunteer? Did you catch that? Work or volunteer. So you could go volunteer somewhere and get zero pay and not have to worry about your benefits being affected, but you won't get paid for your volunteer work. So the options are it's limited how they can do this. You see what I'm saying? It's very limited. They definitely box people into a corner, but if you're able-bodied and you're out here just living off the government, well, you know what? I have no sympathy for you. I have sympathy for the folks that really need help. The ones that are living in very tough situations. They have a bunch of children. Children need to eat. There are some situations out there. And if you have kids that are under school age and you can't send them to school, so somebody has to be there with them. So you're a single parent. You can't really work because you got 2 or 3 kids and one of them's an infant that's 2 years old. Let's say you got a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old. How are you supposed to work a full-time job if you're the only adult in the house without there being some super expensive daycare you got to pay for? And, you know, some people do get daycare vouchers, but most people that get vouchers, what a lot of us don't know that don't qualify for shit like that, the voucher doesn't necessarily cover the whole cost. It's like a discount cost. So the voucher will cover, let's say, 50% of it. But if daycare costs you $1,000 a month and they're covering $500 of it, you still got to come up with $500. And if you don't have a lot, that's not easy to come up with. So, hey, Jay Coleman, thanks for stopping in. I'm getting ready to get out of here, too. Make sure that you take good care of them kids. I'm sure they appreciate you, too. And if the kids can hear me, you better appreciate Jay Coleman. That's all I'm going to say. Because a lot of people are not trying to deal with multiple children by themselves. They'd be like fuck them kids. Put them in foster care or sell them to a Cambodian immigrant who does a slavery thing in a call center, in a factory. We have already covered these stories. That's why I made mention of it. But I need y'all to understand, we got one guy saying, basically threatening people. That's what he was doing. Better get my EBT or what, bro? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You going to come to somebody's house and do something about it? Like, not going to do shit. So we're gonna leave that alone. And so, of course, the internet is having its time with this. But the truth of the matter is, when you get Sora,
situation like this with a bonnet.
Oh, I've seen this.
I swiped the EBT. It said decline. Girl, I ain't paying no cash. Hell no.
You ever been in a situation like this with a bonnet-wearing LaFonda? You're not racist. You're just exhausted.
That's when my doctor prescribed me Civilize. Not to make it better, just so I could keep my mouth shut and walk away.
With Civilize, you don't hear the ignorance. You don't feel the heat. You just move forward. Thanks to Civilize, I don't even hear it anymore.
All right. That was almost funny. But anyway, so as you can imagine, the internet is going back and forth. Some people are saying that basically everybody on EBT is draining and leeching, where other people are like, hey, there's a lot of folks that do need that assistance, so let's have a heart. I personally think that what's going to happen is the states will cover it first, then the federal government will cover something later, and then they'll come back with a boost, like they did during COVID, to get people back on track, so to speak. They'll come back with a boost, and the American public will love it, and they'll feel like it was all done for the greater good of America. Because what's not going to happen here is multiple months of Walmart, Target, Publix, Walgreens. I'm trying to think of some other major stores. Safeway, Giant, depending on where you live at. Those stores on the first part of the month, when people come in there and spend $300-400 in food stamps, they're not going to get that money either. So it'll crash the stores. So this thing is not just about people, regular folks living off the system and getting paid for that. Their money, that taxpayer money that has been invested in those programs goes back to the businesses, and it pays employees that work at those businesses, such as Walmart. So if you take away the entire program, you take away the income that goes into the bottom line of the same companies that you want to offer jobs. They're not going to be able to offer jobs because they're not making as much money because people aren't buying as much shit. The domino effect. And we get it. So if you didn't know and you haven't received any notice, you will receive a notice, but you're not going to get it until like the 1st, which sucks. But most of the food stamp programs, EBT people, the local departments have already notified people either via email, text message, or on their app. So if you're one of those people, you haven't gotten something official, make sure you check your apps. There might be a little disclaimer or something at the top, but they're letting people know. So this is really happening. I feel like at the 11th hour, they're going to figure something out where the states will just pay for it for at least a month. But until then, they're expecting us to be paranoid, and we should be. Because if people decide that they're going to steal food instead of earn money to buy food, then going to the supermarket becomes very dangerous for somebody. Like, here's the thing. Is it less of a crime, and I'm not purporting any crime here, but I just want y'all to think, is it less of a crime for me to go into the store and steal food from the store coming out, or I could just cart jack somebody? They come out with 2 big-ass carts full of, hey, give it up, and I just take their cart. I don't take their money. I don't take their wallets and all that kind of, I don't even take their car. No, we got a car right here. We knew what we were coming to do. They're going to call it carjacking. So that's coming up soon. We'll be looking out for the fleeing felonies called carjacking. That's where you wait in the Walmart parking lot and you steal people's full carts of whatever they bought and you run with it. So nonetheless, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I think as long as we stay vigilant, we're going to be fine. We'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. Okay. But all of this threatening to go steal stuff, you do know the police watch social media. So you're on the list now because you said you was going to do something about not getting food stamps. Now they're looking for you. If you are one of those people that is planning to go on a stealing spree, do me a favor. And 1, don't post it on the internet. And 2, don't take your kids with you because you're an asshole for that. Okay? All right, so nonetheless, y'all get it. Y'all get it. It's a real risky business going on out here. Everybody's in the same boat, but it seems like most of us are thinking that we're still in the water, just barely floating. We should all be in the same boat, but a lot of us are just floating around in the water, around the boat. And these folks are serious. They're serious. They're serious about stealing. Like if I got hungry and there was no option, I could see stealing food. Like, your kids are hungry, your wife is hungry, you hungry. I had to go at least snatch up some noodle packs or something and some tuna fish, make a hookup. We ain't gonna starve out here. I'll tell you that right now. Ain't no way. You better learn how to panhandle. So, all right, y'all. So let's bring it back in. Bring it all back in. Bring it all back in, right? Because I've said enough. I've purged enough. And I think you guys are ready to move out into the world with your purge antennas all the way up, looking for the bullshit. But when you get to the place of the bullshit, remember, your mandate is to purge the BS the moment you see it. Don't let it get past you. Don't let it get to the next person. If you see it, you deal with it immediately. If they don't like you for dealing with it, so what? I've been told I have a combative conversation style. You know why? Because people talk a lot of bullshit to me, and I combat the bullshit. So I stand on it. Yes, I do have a relatively combative conversation style. But if we're actually talking about something, I don't have a reason to be combative. But if you throw some bullshit in my direction, please know I have been mandated by God to deal with that. And who you think I'm going to be more willing to let down? Your opinion of me or the God that created me? Hell out of here. I want no parts of your BS because I must purge the BS, okay? So we talked about 7 different stories today. And here's the common thread. People are taking risks while other people are paying the price. And me, for one, I'm kind of tired of that. I think accountability should remain in the culprit. But for some reason, it seems like a person will do something, they take no accountability, and everybody else has to be affected by it. And I'm getting a little bit tired of that. I will say I was happy about the Michael Jordan clip. I think that that's probably going to be a good one. You know, he might have some insight. I don't know if you ever read the Michael Jordan had a book years ago. I cannot remember what the title was, but it was like the cover had him with his arms all the way out with like 2 basketballs and shit like that. I don't know if it was air up there or something like that, whatever it was. But it was a really good book. It was very motivational. It was like, you know, get your life together and be strong and, you know, discipline. It was a very good book. So I'm hoping that this little series he does follows that suit, because I just need men, not just black men, just grown-ass men out here in the world being positive and giving people real information instead of talking that goofy shit all the time and act like they from the streets and not even from the street. That's stupid. So anyway, we're going to keep Doug Martin's family in our prayers. That's the guy who was unalived by the police, and we don't know a lot yet, but I'm sure Ben Crump will be there to let us know soon. And I also want to make sure that y'all don't forget, if you're around Candace Owens, tell her to give us a holler, because the folks are thinking that she might have got scooped up and put in the back of a van. That's where people are with it right now. They're like, no way she's silent. Something happened. So we'll see how that goes. But in the interim, I'm traveling this weekend. I might do a live stream while I'm traveling. I just want to see if anybody can make it through a live stream of travel with me. I got to drive to go pick up some stuff in another state. So I'm going to be bored. So I might try that. I don't know. Everybody else does IRL stuff, so maybe I'll do that. We'll see. And if not, whatever. I'll be back next Tuesday. But we're not going to do our normal Saturday panel this week. I'll be out of town, and we still have some people off for the month of October, sorry. But we'll be back full force November 15th on the panel. So the panel will be back full force on the 15th. But between now and then, it's going to be just a bunch of random episodes of me. Maybe one other person. I hope you guys can tolerate that. Because if you can't tolerate that, that's on you. I mean, you got to deal with it yourself. I'll tell you. But glad you guys came in today. Let me give my shouts. Let me get up out. Special shout to Tamara. Stopping in. Haven't seen you in a minute, Tamara. Thank you for coming in. Right. And also, hold on. And a special shout to AXA. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, but special shout to AXA for the new subscribe. Appreciate that. Make sure you tell a friend to bring a friend on the next one. Shouts to Jay Coleman. Shouts to Silas Jesus or Silas Jesus, depending on what language you feel like speaking right now. Shouts for coming in. Let's see what else we got. Who else do we have? Christopher O'Mara for coming in. No reply, of course, always holding it down with all the good information. And make sure you go over to the Discord where no reply goes completely unhinged over there. You got to be careful over there. But the Discord link, I keep forgetting to put it in the chat. I ain't got time. But shouts, of course, to everybody that came in. Al Bond, IMZ, Purple Groovy. If y'all weren't here, who was this person here? Somebody named Triple B. Shouts to the trolls that came in. Shouts to FO, who was the first person that came in, but their comment was in Chinese. So, thank you. Okay? For you. And everybody else, if you are not purging the BS, then you know that makes you part of the BS. And that, my friends, would be, we out of here. Peace.